Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Arts and Psychology. I hope everyone is having a fine day. On this interview, I am with Luisa Domínguez, a singer, dancer, and actress from Puerto Rico. How are you doing today, Luisa?
I'm doing very good. Doing chores in the house today, so it's been a busy day, but I'm doing really good. And you?
That's great. I'm great. I'm really happy to have you here today.
I'm really
Very
happy to.
excited for your story and for
Mhm.
you to share everything that you have to tell us. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am a dancer. I have danced since I'm 3 years old. Ballet, contemporary. I am also an actress. I was I'm graduating this year from Seding. That's where I learned all that I know from musical theater and theater in general. And I'm also a singer, musical theater. So basically, the arts have been in my life since I was born, like basically. So that's basically what I have been doing all my life. And I am going to go to Marymount Manhattan College, hopefully in September. Depends on the quarantine.
So tell us what motivated you to start a career in arts?
Wow. I think what motivated me the most was my mom. My mom was a dancer, a principal dancer here in Puerto Rico for a long time. So that that's why I said, that the arts have been in my life, since I was born. And she was a spectacular. She wasn't just a good dancer. She had a lot of artistry. That's really important. I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to like being on stage or really doing whatever it is you're doing, like um with art. So I think, yeah, definitely my mom motivated me with that. And my musical theater teacher from Seding, Miguel Rosa, he's my mentor. He was the one that taught me everything I know about theater. So that is, I think, like the two reasons why I'm
So I've had the
I
honor
love theater.
to see you in Contratiempo and in Rent. Tell us a little
Oh,
bit about those experiences.
okay. Contratiempo was really fun, because I was, the dancer in Contratiempo, and everyone played an instrument. I didn't really play an instrument, I I took piano lessons like a few years ago. I don't really remember, but so it was really fun, because I got to learn how to play the guitar a little bit. I'm not like so good. It was also in Spanish. I don't do a lot of musicals and plays in Spanish, so that was a really fun challenge as well. And Rent was like the best thing that has happened like in my like in my musical theater career. You know, like the Rent musical itself. It's so powerful and so it gets to the audience. The message. The musical just speaks for itself. And getting to do it, that's my favorite musical, and getting to do it in Sevin, I was, just like, and the process was amazing. All of the actors, the ensemble, we really got together. I think really because of the musical, but Rent is really special. And it was really hard, for us in the end when it finished. It was like everyone was crying and everything. But I think like the challenge in Rent was like the emotional part. It got a point in the musical where I just couldn't like hold my emotions, and I just like started crying and I couldn't stop, like on stage and backstage. I just like couldn't stop crying. But I think that's like I love Rent because that is what life is about. I played Mimi in Rent. Sorry, I didn't say that. I played Mimi Marquez in Rent. And like that character, all the characters in Rent are complicated, but Mimi is a really complicated character, because um she's a junkie, that's what they say in the musical, and a stripper. um and she has a lot of trouble, not a lot of trouble, but with love. She's kind of in a love triangle with two other characters, Roger and Benny. And she really changes throughout the musical. She starts like let's go out tonight. Like, I don't care about anything. And then at the end of the musical, she's just so vulnerable and so sensitive and just willing to love, and learning that love, there's no day but today. That's what the musical said.
I imagine that also another challenge from the musical Rent is that the whole play goes throughout a whole year. So, like,
Yeah.
changing emotions and your personality throughout all the play, it has to be difficult.
Yes, I remember one of the Paola Hernandez, she did Mimi Marquez in the Rent tour, and she helped us. She's from Puerto Rico, and she helped us with the acting, and analyzing the musical. And I remember where she was saying, because at first, my character starts off, she has a lot of energy, and she's willing to do a lot of things, but then at the end of the musical, she's literally dying, So I really, I needed to portray that with my body as well. I really needed to let people know that I was dying, and I was like sick and I was not okay. So that is I really like that you said that, because that was really difficult, like for me, like it's only a 2 hour and a half musical, and it really like goes a year, throughout in the musical. So that was a really big challenge.
So, I wanted to ask you, have you ever gone through any emotional trouble, like with mental health throughout your career as an artist?
Definitely, yes. It's like, especially this career industry, it's really hard, because there's a lot of no, yeah, there's a lot of competition, but I think it's really just more than that, because sometimes you want to do something and you just don't get to do it because, I don't know, you're not right for it. I mean, or something like that happens. Also, it's really hard, sometimes you spend a lot of time with the people rehearsing and stuff, and you can't mix personal problems when it comes, to like the where you gotta work and be professional. And I think that is where I think it most affected me. I think I always, was pretty professional, and I didn't really mix being professional and the personal aspects with my scene partners. But yeah, there were times where it was just so hard, because personal stuff between us, and getting getting through that, sometimes you just want to, like, when you have a problem with a person, you don't necessarily want to be with that person,
Of course.
so yeah. So imagine, just like seeing those people in rehearsal every day. Sometimes I just got out of rehearsal and I started crying. I just started crying because it was so hard, and there's kind of like no escape. You just need to finish like the work until you go on stage and do everything. And I also remember that a lot of monologues or songs that were like usually like really sad or dramatic, I usually just like ended up crying, in the monologue or the song, because but it was because of my personal things that I had, and I kind of just use that in my favor. So it's not really a burden, um, sometimes I just use it in my favor, and I just kind of got through it. But yeah, I think that is what affected me the most, like emotionally. But it's just kind like it's the process, and it's it's what it is. If I want to do this, I'm gonna have to go through it,
That's
so
true.
it's okay.
It's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about in the dancing world? Because it's totally different, even though their arts is totally different. So, have you ever had any trouble with self-image or eating disorders or anything that has to do with that?
Yes, oh my god, like thank you for bringing that up. I like, I don't have a problem with like sharing it, but I have never really shared it. um you know I, like, when I was little, I wasn't really like skinny, or whatever skinny like means. But in ballet, well, skinny means like being skinny. So I wasn't really skinny, and I was like, usually my teachers would just tell me like, you know you need to like go on a diet, or I don't know, like sometimes I would get sick, and they would and I would like lose weight, and they would say like, oh, like get sicker like more often. I was like, what? That's insane. And that caused me a lot of problems with food, the things that I ate. I never really got like diagnosed with anything, but I definitely think that I did have an eating disorder of some kind, because I remember that I always felt bad when I was eating. You're not supposed to feel bad when you eat. Eat is normal. Eating
Exactly.
is good for your body. You need to eat, so you have energy. So I and I had a I think there was a moment when I didn't have energy, like I woke up and I was just like tired all day, and it was probably because I didn't eat well. And it took me a lot, and I was probably skinny. I was probably so skinny, but I didn't see myself, skinny, or the way I wanted to. I saw myself in the mirror. I was like, I could get even more skinnier. And then, there was a time where I gained some weight because of some medications that I was taking. And it was really ironic, because when I was gaining weight, which I didn't like, I thought that I was finally comfortable in my body. And then when somebody told me like, you're getting fat, and I was like, oh my god, like what is happening? And then when I looked at pictures, from before, I was like, I was so skinny, but I didn't, my
You didn't
mind,
notice.
I didn't notice, like, and I was like, I definitely had some kind of eating disorder, and that was really difficult. It took me a long time to like my body and love my body and how I looked. I'm really glad that I finally did. I can say that it was like last year that I finally, like saw my body in the mirror. I was like I like how it looks, and I like how I see myself. But it was definitely a process, because in the ballet world, it's really hard, especially in Puerto Rico, like you said. It's really, the teachers, I mean, amazing teachers, but it's really difficult. Yeah, and I'm not blaming ballet. I love ballet, but it definitely, in the aspect of, like the image that, ballet dancers need to have, I definitely had a lot of issues with food in my body. But I'm glad that I finally, feel comfortable with it. And I want to, like, from this interview, I want to say, that if somebody, is going through a problem like that, or an eating disorder or anything, I really hope that one day you can be able to, say, I'm comfortable in my body, this is how my body, because everybody is different. So it's like a person can be like, there's no, like, for example, like people who have tough, not tough muscles, but like thick muscles, they can't look like skinny,
Mm-hmm.
like if that makes sense, you know, like everybody is different, so don't compare yourself to anyone. And you know, I know it's a process, you know, I went through it, and it's not you know, easy, but I can assure you, if I got through it, a lot of you can get through it. So that is like my motivation speech for you
Thank
guys.
you for sharing. I know it's difficult to share that, so thank you so much for sharing. I wanted to ask you, did you like how did you got able to accept yourself and love yourself the way you do right now?
Well, I remember where I had a friend, and she was like, you know, see yourself in the mirror every day and say that, like, you're beautiful and I like my body. And I, you know, it was like a fake it till you make it kind of thing. And then eventually, you know, it worked. I honestly didn't think it was gonna work, you know, but the fact that I just looked at myself in the mirror every day and I just kind of said, like, you know, you're beautiful, you like your body, you like the way you look. Eventually I just kind of started to believe it. And I mean, it's not fake right now, you know. I really do love myself and my body and how I look. But I think that was what really got me through it. Also, you know, like seeing like the pictures from before and after, you know, I had lost a lot of weight and then I gained weight and then I lost it again. You know, it was like, you know, your body was okay all along, you just didn't realize it because of the,
The
you know,
pressure.
standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pressure. So that was definitely, you know, like the thing that helped me, you know, just saying to myself, like, you're okay, you're beautiful.
So, how did arts help you throughout all of this?
I think that, you know, in general, like without art, like how can society, you know, advance? So imagine, you know, the impact that it has in a person. So I'm always, you know, in my life, like the reason why I have always been like so motivated and ready to do things is because I have art present and I get to do, you know, plays and musicals, you know, when I was, you know, auditioning for the school's musical, and then they accepted me and they gave me the character that you know, that not necessarily that I wanted, but that I loved. And you know, it was always so, you know, I always got to say I'm looking forward to life because I have art, basically. You know, I think that sounds like a little, I don't know, like sad. No, not really, but you know, I think that's why, like in the quarantine, I've been okay, but you know, it's like, man, like when am I going to get on stage again? You know, when am I going to perform again? You know, that is, you know, that is what motivates me in life, and that is what I want to do with my life. So without art, without like everything that I do, you know, dance and act and sing, I definitely wouldn't have gotten throughout a lot of things in my life. And I think like in this quarantine right now, I think that's what basically saving a lot of people. You know, they're not getting money from it, but that's, you know, we love art and we do it because we love it,
Mhm.
and because it fulfills our life. So um I think that, you know, that is the most important thing. You know, I have never really um like said like, oh, I'm going to do this because of the money. You know, no, it never feels like work. You know, I because we love it, so we do it. And without money or with money, we love it anyways.
So, how do you see yourself in a near future?
Let's say that I'm going to study musical theater in New York, so I see myself, you know, studying it. That's what I want to do. I would really love, you know, to see the musical theater industry here in Puerto Rico rise. I think it has risen, like, from the last few years. So I really hope and it would make me so happy that it would, by the time that I like finish college and everything, that it's pretty good here, so I could come back, because I love Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico has a lot of talent. Puerto Rico has a lot of talent, and
Indeed.
like what saddens me a bit is that the majority of us have to go out of Puerto
Mhm.
Rico to do art, and it's like I wish I could do it here, and I wish I could have a steady job here with art. Not that people don't have it, but it's not like the majority of the people that are like. So I basically see myself in a near future auditioning in New York or here, but doing musical theater basically.
How would you say that we can better that, like Puerto Rico having a better chance with arts here?
That's a tough question. Um, no, I mean it's. I don't think it's that hard, but I just people really. I don't think people really appreciate like the people who are not involucrated in the arts here in Puerto Rico don't really appreciate it. So that's why I just think it's there's a lot of art and a lot of talent and a lot of things that are so beautiful that are created here in Puerto Rico, but since people it's not like for example in New York, going to the theater to to go to Broadway, it's basically culture. It's
Mhm.
basically culture to go to the theater, whether you're a theater geek or you're not, going to the theater is like a must. So I think that here in Puerto Rico that's really not the case. So I just think that maybe us artists, I think that we have been doing it, but getting people who not necessarily go to theaters and art stuff in general, to go and you know support it, right? Support it, yeah, support it. Like for example, like there are a lot of things that are like free, like to go
Mhm.
here in Puerto Rico. And it's like, why don't people go if it's free? That's why they literally just don't appreciate it. Like they don't appreciate like art, and that is like the most important thing like in life. I think like that is what gets us going as a society. So I think that if more people like would just go and you know say like I'm present, I'm here, I'm going to I support this, we definitely you know would get like the arts and like theater and musical theater like running up like again. Because I think that in the past, I think that it was like pretty like people went to the theater, and I just think that in the last few years that it just kind of has like disappeared.
I believe that one of the reasons, like one of the things that we should do to make arts rise how we want it is to actually educate our kids. Because when I
Definitely.
was younger, I remember that we went to like theater and watch ballet and watch everything that was artistic. And now our kids are not having that opportunity to go and watch
Definitely.
ballet or educate themselves about this culture that it's amazing, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we need to start doing field trips again and start, like us, if
Definitely.
like
Yes.
schools don't appreciate it, maybe go to schools and say like, hey, I'm doing this play, I think it's amazing that it shows this and this and this. Because arts and theater and ballet, they have an education throughout them. Like it's not just, oh,
Definitely.
it's
Mm-hmm.
a play and it's pretty. No, it has a meaning through the story.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we can show so many things throughout all of these things, and that
Definitely.
way
Mm-hmm.
show kids that, look, this is important, you can learn
Yes.
from it, you can
Mm-hmm.
actually pursue a career in it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that way we can like rise all of this. And because arts,
Definitely.
like, we deserve it. Like Puerto Rico deserves a good, like, artistic place where you can actually be an artist and be comfortable here and gain the money you need to actually be okay with it here in Puerto Rico. And I've had the honor to like have interviews with many Puerto Rican actors, singers, and dancers, and they have something in common, and it's that they have to leave, but they don't want to leave. Like they love Puerto Rico so much, they don't want to leave. They want to stay here.
My God,
But
I got goosebumps when you said that. Oh my God, because that is like literally the same way that I feel, and probably the same way I think that you feel as well.
yes.
Because I know you're an artist as well, and I really I really do think that it has gotten better. It's not where we
It should
wish
be, yeah.
like it should be exactly, but I think it definitely has gotten better. And I give a special shout out again to Miguel Rosa, because he's amazing. And I'm just saying that because he's my like he was my teacher. But he's such he has such a creative mind, and such a like he has so much vision, like for the arts. And like in the like here in the pandemic and the quarantine, he has basically been doing art related things,
Yes.
for people to join. So I think that has been so helpful, and I appreciate him a lot, and I thank him a lot. So Miguel, if you're watching this, thank you. And I really do hope that all the people watching this, like get to know who is Miguel Rosa, because he's getting bigger like every second.
Yes.
And I mean, as like as a mentor, as a teacher, like in the musical theater world. So I really like do hope that a lot of people get to work with him, because he is going to win an award, like a really big one someday. So I really thank him a lot for that.
We need more teachers like that then.
Yeah, definitely.
Teachers that motivate and that appreciate art and show that to different generations, because it's very, very important. So what would be your advice for rising artists?
Yeah, like I know it's really scary. I'm scared, that I'm going to go to New York. That is a really competitive city, because rejections, yeah, they're gonna be a lot. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you are not right for it. Just keep on going. Never give up. If this is what you really want to do, just never give up. So I think that being humble and being disciplined and being smart, it's not just being talented. You can't just be talented and be just like like waiting for something to come, because it's not gonna come. If you want to do something, you need to make it happen. Be respectful, respect to everyone who you're working with as well. And yeah, it's an emotional ride. Definitely, it's not easy. And I think that us artists are really dramatic, not
Yes,
just
we
on
are.
stage. Not just on stage. You can't just like lay back and wait for an opportunity to come and you didn't do anything, because that doesn't happen. So if you want to do it, just do it, and do it with passion and with love.
Well, Luisa, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for supporting our page and supporting our platform and what we do.
Of
And
course,
just thank you very much for sharing your story and being very open with us. So thank you very much for that.
Of course, you're welcome. I really love this project that you're doing. I think it's really gonna inspire people, and I think it's really gonna educate people. So you're doing an amazing job. Like, thank you for doing this. Like when you told me about this, I was like, yes, I love this. So
thank you.
Thank you. Please keep doing it. Please keep doing it. Please keep doing art. And I think this is gonna be really, really inspiring for a lot of people, and really big. So
thank you. Thank you very much.